The Public Health Commission is warning about a cyanobacteria algae bloom in Hyde Park's Sprague Pond. Toxins in the water can make people and pets sick. The water, if you look at it, looks like pea soup or even paint. When cyanobacteria appears, experts say avoid all contact with that water. And it has made an appearance now on Martha's Vineyard.
A popular pond is being choked by toxic algae. WBZ's Jacob Wyckoff takes us to the vineyard to show us the new tool that could turn the tide and keep it safe.
Every year, tens of thousands flock to Martha's Vineyard for the sun, the sand, and the scenery. But in order to keep this special sanctuary safe, unique solutions are needed to fight our changing climate. High above the southern part of the island, the Atlantic collides with the shore. Just beyond it, 200 acres of brackish water. This is Chilmark Pond. It looks inviting, but a danger lurks in these waters. Over the last several years, toxic blooms of cyanobacteria have taken over.
Martha's Vineyard generally is just paradise.
Arnie Spivak and Sharon Siegel live on Chilmark Pond. They remember a time when the pond was a place for play, a passageway to the beach, and the wonders of summer.
My grandchildren used to swim in this pond, and they can't anymore.
Cyanobacteria, sometimes called blue-green algae, are microscopic organisms that thrive in warm, nutrient-rich water. They feed on nitrogen and phosphorus, and in the summer, they can multiply fast enough to choke a pond and produce toxins that can make people and pets sick.
This pond is really delicate.
Emily Reddington leads the Great Pond Foundation and says the challenge was finding a fix that wouldn't hurt the ecosystem they're trying to save.
Instead of adding a chemical or disturbing the environment, it uses sonic pulses targeted specifically at cyanobacteria to keep them from growing out of control or blooming.
This is the Algae Sonic MPC buoy, a solar-powered savior for Chilmark Pond. Every 30 minutes, it checks the water's vital signs and sends out sound waves that block algae from the sunlight it needs to grow. Without the buoy, the blooms can surface, spread, and release those dangerous toxins. The buoy is treating the bloom, a medicine of sorts, but the problem runs much deeper. The blooms, they spawn from contaminants seeping into the soil. That comes from runoff and aging septic systems surrounding it. This is not a Chilmark Pond issue. This is not a Martha's Vineyard issue. This is not a Massachusetts issue. This is a worldwide issue.
100%. This is a global challenge that we're having to deal with. Across the world, temperatures are increasing. The precipitation is changing. The pressures on the environment are increasing over time.
To give you an idea of just how big of a problem this is, at any given time, dozens of cities and towns in Massachusetts have closed beaches because of cyanobacteria. And it's not just small bodies of water either. For example, these algae blooms are also a common occurrence in 3 of the Great Lakes. That's why Reddington's team heads out daily to gather water for testing.
The more data, the better.
Once the water's back at the Vineyard Haven lab, it's analyzed, sample by sample.
This machine will tell us specifically what phytoplankton or what combination of phytoplankton is kind of growing and giving the water that hue. What we're registering is kind of a moderate to high concentration of cyanobacteria.
Are you diagnosing the pond here?
Yeah, in some sense, we are.
All this data goes straight to the Board of Health, the people who ultimately make the call on public safety.
The signs were ready to go, the maps went up the same day, and we kind of have a weekly workflow for most of the sampling, but if it's a bloom, those are posted the same day.
Back on the pond, those who live along the water, like President of Chilmark Pond Association, EMMY Salzman, say the new sonic buoy is bringing a new sense of hope.
If it works, it could be a game changer for the island, for the Cape.
She believes people and nature share a symbiotic relationship, and losing something like the pond to climate change would be unimaginable.
We've gotten so enclosed in our urban world that one of the most important things we can do, I think, for nature is to get people out in it. And restoring this pond is such an opportunity to reconnect people to it.
One buoy won't save this pond on its own, but here, hope floats, and with it, a fight to keep these waters alive for generations to come. On Martha's Vineyard, I'm Jacob Wyckoff, WBZ News.
Wow, that is fascinating that the sound waves can block the sunlight and prevent the algae from growing. That's incredible.
Super interesting story by Jacob.